Well, good morning, SLO. This is, when I was listening to all the speakers here, this is what we do. And Aaron, thank you for just reminding me why we don't have dorms at Cuesta College. And James, thank you for not disappointing my wife, who is your sixth grade teacher. This is San Luis Obispo, and we're connected in so many ways, and it's been a privilege for me to be raised here and have the wonderful opportunity to raise my family here. So today it's all about gratitude. In 1948, my family moved here to San Luis Obispo. My mom was a recent divorcee with a 7-year-old and an 11-year-old. I was a 7-year-old. At a time when being a single mom wasn't the norm, it was the exception. And what we experienced in San Luis is she was more than treated with respect and welcomed into the community, and we felt protected. We felt protected and accepted because we were different. In 1959, I graduated from San Luis Obispo High School. That same year, the San Luis Obispo Junior College shut down because they lost their accreditation. Little did I know they would come back to haunt me again, So there was not a local option to go to a 2-year college in preparation for the university. Fortunately, I was a good student, I was a good athlete, and had a football scholarship offer from University of Pacific, who had football at the time. At the last minute, that fell through, and I ended up under the very rigid admissions policies at Cal Poly during that time. In 2 days, I was playing football at Cal Poly. But it was the beginning of something very special. In 1960, I was a survivor of the Cal Poly football team plane crash in Toledo, Ohio, in which 16 of my teammates were killed and 19 of us were fortunate to survive that experience. But again, today's talk about the lack of opportunities to deal with mental health issues reminded me back in 1960, there was no crisis counseling. There was no army of professionals to run to a disaster to help people like myself and my teammates to deal with the trauma of being a 19-year-old and suddenly losing so many important people in my life. And so we were just expected to kind of pick up and move on. And some of us did better than others. I was fortunate to be cultivated and coveted by this community. There was a great deal of output by this community to take care of us. But some of my colleagues, now we're in our 70s, are still battling the demons of why some people were killed and some survived. And I dealt with that for about 5 years, wondering, dealing with the anger part, whose fault was it? Dealing with the challenging of my trust and my faith in God. And then also dealing with the survivor guilt of why me? Why did Ray Porras die, who was 24 years old and had 4 little girls? Me, I was 19, I had no responsibilities, just go to school and have fun. And don't do anything illegal in my dorm room. Yeah. But then I was grateful for the opportunity to be in this community. And then I met my wife, Jan, who's here today. And so I'm so very grateful because she was the anchor and the strength in my life, the consistency that I needed. And after 53 years of still being married to each other, and 5 children and 10 grandchildren, you know, there was a lot to be grateful for. In 1966, it all came together, and that's when my daughter Shelley was born. And suddenly I saw that miracle of life happening. I remember sitting and hovering over the bassinet, looking at those perfect toes, those perfect fingers, the perfect elements of a human being. And at that point, I realized, for whatever reason, I was given a second chance. I couldn't explain it. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I just trusted the fact that I had something bigger in life to accomplish. And that became kind of the mantra for me, and that is, and I think that's what directed me into a life of service. And I chose education to be my pathway of service. And I chose to be involved in my community. And heaven knows, you know, we've all engaged with each other at one time or another in the 40 years I've been doing auctions for nonprofits. And I have raised over $2.5 million of your dollars to support those hundreds of nonprofits in our community that every day are doing something special for us, for our citizens of San Luis Obispo and our county. And that's the joy. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to do that. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have walked into a pasture of barracks in 1967, which was called Cuesta College. It was nothing except we had faith and spirit. It was that creation, that ground floor pioneering, let's put it together and move forward. Little did I know what the next 50 years were going to have in store for me. I just wanted to coach football, yeah. And that's how I ended up at Cuesta, was a football coach. And so that pathway led to so many opportunities that when in 2010, when Pat Mullen, who was the president of our board at the time, called me and said, would you be willing to come back in and lead Cuesta College? Most of you would say, are you kidding? But my wife said, no, you know what? You have to do this. This is what the time and opportunity is for you. So that was supposed to be for 2 years. And so 9 years later, we are now at that turning point again. And Ermina's standing, which is a cue that I need to wrap this thing up. So just let me say thank you to all of you who have trusted us at Cuesta College. This is your college. It will forever be your college. And I really thank you for utilizing it for whatever purpose you have in life. We are the Come As You Are College. And we have a few of our honored alums who are most recent, Heidi Harmon, who was just recent, a former honored alum, and Tim Williams. And, you know, this is you. So you have made my life really rewarding, and I really appreciate that. And I will be ever grateful to have San Luis Obispo as part of my legacy in life. So thank you, Ermina. Thank you.